Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. So this is part two video for today in my new channel. If you haven't moved across, please do so as soon as possible. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe as well to the channel if you haven't done so. So what's happened today was UAE and US did some joint strikes against Iran. First, the United States tried to hijack some Iranian ships, which failed. And then they attack the Iranian ports using UAE and United States. And then I think what's happened was Iranians started firing at US ships using drones and missiles. And the Iranians say they hit some ships. The US has obviously denied it. So the truth is probably somewhere in between. But we'll see. I think more news will probably come out in the next few days if there was any major damage to the ships. Even if there was no damage to the ships, they probably would have used a lot of ammunition, costing them, billions. So there's not been any retaliation strikes against UAE, but I believe that may be coming. I believe it's extremely, naive of UAE to join the United States and Israel to attack Iran. Things are not going to be looking good for UAE. They think there's some sort of superpower in the region, but they're not. So things are going to be ending very badly for UAE. So maybe there's an attack coming tonight or maybe tomorrow. Who knows? One thing's for sure, the United States is making tons of money from this Iranian conflict. Just today, Marco Rubio has approved 25.8 billion in weapons for the Middle Eastern nations, for the GCC nations. 25 billion to replenish all the missiles, PAC-3 missiles, which I mean the Patriots, any THAAD missiles that might be there, and any other missiles. So 25 billion United States military industrial complex is going to be making from the GCC. Easy money, right? Easy money for the military industrial complex. All they have to do is, carry on striking Iran. Iran will obviously retaliate and hit the UAE and other GCC nations. They will use up all of their missiles and then they will buy more American missiles for 25 billion. Easy money for the military industrial complex. All they have to do is just keep the war going. And I believe that's what they're going to do. They think that, hang on a second, there's a good way to make money here. Let's just keep the war going. Let's not do any peace deals. We can make a lot of money. So there's no need for peace. This is why they're attacking Iran. After they signed up for this deal, they decided to attack Iran. They think, what's the point of doing any peace? We can make loads of money from the Gulf nations. Might as well just carry on. That's what's happening, guys, behind the scenes. So Trump has sent this Truth Social post confirming that he attacked Iran. He calls it some sort of love tap, which is disgusting. In the middle of an attack in a war where people are killed, he's calling it a love tap. Absolutely disgusting, guys. So what I really wanted to talk about today was Trump is going to China, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on why he's going and what will be the outcome, and I will give you my thoughts. So he's going to China. He has to go to China, by the way. He is absolutely desperate. So I've put a list together of all the reasons why he's going to China, and I'm going to go through all the reasons with you. Number one, rare earths. As we know, China has restricted rare earth sales to the United States, especially the military. For commercial use, China is letting rare earths being sold to the United States with a higher price. But in terms of military use, China is still not allowing it. And we all know that United States and Israel needs rare earths for their missiles. So they've used up a lot of their missiles fighting Iran and other wars. So they need rare earths to replenish those missiles, and they can only get that from China at the moment. So that's the number one reason. So why should China give rare earths to United States when United States is fighting, China's ally, which is Iran? And when United States replenishes those missiles, they could be used against China. So why should China give United States rare earths? Well, I believe only reason only reason that only reason that China would probably give rare earths to United States, which is very, very low chance, low probability, by the way. I don't think it will happen, but only chance they will do it is if United States signs something saying that they are not going to arm Taiwan, island of Taiwan. They're not going to arm them, and they have no objection with China reunifying with Taiwan, and United States will not intervene. And United States reiterates that they're happy for China and Taiwan to reunify peacefully. United States gives this blessing, some sort of agreement, something like that in writing. Then I believe that China might give away some rare earths because it's worth it in the day, right? For the island of Taiwan, giving away a few rare earths is not a problem. But I doubt that will happen. I doubt Trump, is going to do that, and I doubt China's going to give United States any rare earths because these rare earths are going to be used against China at one point, and these rare earths will also be used against China's allies like Iran and also against Russia as well. So I doubt that will happen. But Trump is going to try it. Trump is going to try it against China. He's going to dangle some sticks against China. He's going to say, for example, he has blocked the Strait of Hormuz. I'm talking about the US has blocked the Strait of Hormuz because we know the Iranians have already done it, but the US has also done it as well. And and the and Trump will probably say to the Chinese, "We have blocked the Strait of Hormuz, and if you want Chinese ships to go through our blockade, then you have to give us rare earths." I believe that's what Trump is going to say to China. China is obviously going to refuse because they don't obviously Trump doesn't understand China. There's going to be a lot of fireworks when he goes to China, and there's going to be a lot of arguments. And let's face it, China, does not like Trump. The Chinese leadership do not like Trump at all because they remember from his first term. They almost came to war, by the way, in his first term. They remember how racist he was towards the Chinese, calling the Wuhan virus and other things as well. He was calling it King Kong flu and all these other racist terms. And also, he kidnapped Meng Wanzhou. He placed all these sanctions on Huawei. He was doing a lot against China in his first term. Placed all these sanctions on China. They were not allowed to buy any semiconductors, any equipment. So he did a lot in his first term, and he's also being extremely racist. And he was also getting all the other countries to sanction China as well, like Britain, Australia. So China still remembers that. and there's no love lost between the two, to be honest. So he's gonna, Trump, I'm talking about, he's gonna dangle the Strait of Hormuz to China. He's gonna say, if you want Chinese ships to go through, you're gonna have to give us rare earths. Otherwise, we're not gonna let any Chinese ships go through. China's gonna refuse. They're gonna say you don't have any cards because, we have enough oil reserves to last us a whole year. Plus, there's oil coming in through the trains from Iran all the way to China. They're going through Pakistan at the moment, so that there is oil coming through. There's also oil coming through from Russia into China. So China has lots of different options. China is also a big oil producer itself as well. There's lots of oil they have found in Tarim Basin in Xinjiang. They've also found oil in the Bohai Strait and in the South China Sea. So China has many, many options when it comes to oil. Obviously, Trump doesn't understand that. Trump also says that China doesn't have any wind farms. It's all fake news, apparently. Well, when he goes to China, I hope, hopefully, somebody in China will show him some windmills. So I believe there's going to be lots of fireworks, and there's other reasons why Trump is going to China as well. The second reason why Trump is going to China is he's going to ask China to buy American oil and gas, and he's going to ask China to buy more American soybeans, more American products, Boeing jets, because Trump is going to take a huge amounts of business people with him. Everyone's going to be there, from Nvidia to Boeing, Amazon, and all these other big companies, American companies, going to go with him. So Trump is going to be saying things like, "You need to buy Nvidia chips because Nvidia chips is quite, you know, important for United States and for Nvidia for China to buy." So far, China has decided not to buy any Nvidia chips because these are not the latest chips they are selling. By the way, these are probably the second or the third generation's chips, and they have huge back doors in them. There's huge security concerns with those chips. And also, Trump is getting a cut from those chips as well. So it's almost like gangster diplomacy here. So Trump is going to try and get China to buy lots of stuff from United States. And again, I really hope that China, fights back this time. I hope that China says, "Okay, we'll buy this stuff, but how about cancel the sanctions for Huawei? You allow Huawei to go back to the American market. You cancel the sanctions for the EV cars. You allow our EV cars to be sold in America. You cancel any other sanctions. You allow Chinese companies to go into America to start doing real business. You, unblock the Panama port that you've taken from us. There's a lot of things that, America needs to do for China to be able to do business fully with America. So they cannot go to America. I mean, America cannot go to China and suddenly ask for all of these freebies and money businesses when they have been sanctioning China left, right, and center. So I really hope that China, throws it back at them, saying, we're not going to do any of that unless you release some of these sanctions on Huawei, on EV cars, and many other sanctions that they've put on, especially with semiconductors, and allow China to buy high-end machines from ASML, for example. So that's the second thing that Trump is going to do. The third thing, he's going to ask China to stop supplying weapons to Iran, stop supplying weapons and help to Russia. He's going to ask that to China, and China's going to refuse, obviously. And I think those are the three main things. Everything that there are other things as well, but other things are pretty small in comparison. These are the main three topics. Uh, so number one is the rare earths for America's military industrial complex. Number two is for all the business for America's economy, because America needs money at the moment. I mean, its economy is absolutely being destroyed by wars and all their debt and things like that. So they desperately need Chinese money. Oh yeah, another thing, they're gonna probably ask China to buy more treasury bonds as well. China has been selling a lot of treasury bonds lately, so Trump is probably going to ask China to buy lots of treasury bonds. And those are the things that America wants. But like I said, what China wants is basically America to give its blessing for reunification with Taiwan and to stop selling weapons to Taiwan. That's the only thing that China wants from this meeting. And I believe China is going to be pushing the Taiwan issue to Trump, and Trump is going to obviously push his agenda to try and get as much as he can from the United States. So that's what's going to happen, guys. And I don't think Trump is going to come back with any fruits. I think China is going to reject all of everything that he wanted. But he's going to come back to the United States. He's going to start lying. He's going to start tweeting saying, I had a great meeting with the Chinese. We agreed on many things. China agreed to give us trillions and trillions of money. They agreed to give us trillions of investments in our country. They agreed to stop supplying weapons to Iran. They agreed to buy treasury bonds. They agreed to give us rare earths. He's going to say all these things to lie, basically, which is not going to be true at all. But he's obviously going to be lying for his American audience. So that's what I think is going to happen, guys. If you think any different, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.